Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I am your host, Maury Mosovitz, with my favorite co-host, Jen Albanese. Hey, Jen.
Hi, Maury. How you doing, Dr. Masovitz? What's going
Oh,
on?
it's been fun. A lot of
Yeah.
good things coming up. We've got a great guest today that we've
Uh,
known for a long time, which is
Such a good
exciting.
guest. So excited to talk to Joe. So
Yeah,
excited.
and gone on to
Yeah.
do amazing things, which is also so great to be around and talk to someone that's gone on to do such great stuff. So
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Um, I will start it off. We've had some discussions more recently about useless tricks that we each can
Yes.
do. So I know
Yes.
I'm jumping right into this, but I'm fascinated by some of this, and I was told that I should present mine first. And this is probably the most useless thing, though my children find it fascinating. I can touch my tongue to my nose, and I don't know if that means that I have a long nose or a long tongue. So one or both, but
Well,
it
first of all,
does.
can your children also do this
No,
or no?
I
Oh, so
don't know who else I don't even
it
know how
was
I figured
not
out that I could do it.
I was gonna say it was not passed down in your line of, to
I
your
mean,
children.
my father probably could do it, but I don't think he would ever admit to it. So
Come on, he would so admit to that. Are you
I don't know. I don't
serious?
think he's tried. I'll have to ask him next time.
We should have asked him when we saw him.
No,
Hey, Mel, can you do this? All right, so to show everybody that what your useless talent
I
is.
mean, it's not good for people that are listening to the podcast, but I'm going to
True,
stick my
true.
tongue out and touch my nose, basically.
We'll put it on social if you're following us. Yeah, and now what's one thing I cannot do?
Yeah,
Nope,
it's not. Nope.
not happening for me.
Okay.
Uh,
So your useless talent, which I think everyone who knows you knows this talent.
yes, and I take pride in this talent. I really do. So like, people say they can juggle or they can like touch their tongue to their nose or whatever their special talents. My special talent is celebrity spotting.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter where I go. Okay, now not in our current like city in Syracuse. There's not a ton of celebrities,
But you
but like
probably could smell them if they're nearby.
100%. So like if we're anywhere, like if we're in New York City, if we're in an airport, if we're somewhere anywhere else, that is like one of my like sixth sense. I can spot celebrities. So you're asking, how do I have this scent?
And
I'm
it's not
sure.
even A-list
Okay.
celebrities. It's like good C, B, D-list celebrities if you really want. Like,
It's
look,
anybody.
there goes Paula Abdul. And you're like, what?
I did. Speaking of Paula Abdul, I spotted her and I have my picture with Paula Abdul. That is a great one, Maury, actually. I was at a Philadelphia Phillies game and weren't you? You were with us, weren't you? We went
No,
with all.
I actually saw Paula Abdul at another time. It's something I
See,
thought with you.
there you go. I was at a Philadelphia Phillies game and she was there and I was like, there's Paula Abdul. I could see her on the field, saw her on the concourse, asked for my picture. It was great. But yes, that is one of my secret talents. So a couple examples of this, in case you're wondering who I've spotted before. I was in New York City with my mom, and we were walking around Little Italy, and it was a winter day. It wasn't like 75 and sunny in the summer. It was probably in like November, and we were walking, and there were people sitting outside at the restaurants. Guess who I spotted? Russell Crowe. Yep, saw him from across the street and was like, "That's Russell Crowe." 100% was him. Another
And the thing
one.
that people should realize, it's not like you're like going around like searching. This is like your peripheral vision like
Correct.
spots them and then you like hone in.
Exactly.
It is a true talent because it's not something that like you can do naturally.
Yeah. I just look up and I'm like, I see them. I feel them in my presence. Another example, my husband can attest to this. We were on our way to London and we were in the airport in New York City and we were walking by, like those spa places where people go, which who does that? Like in the airport? I don't know. But it was like one of those like 20-minute spas or whatever, where you can get like a massage or like whatever. And I look in, and again, it wasn't like it was the first chair. It was like the 4 chairs in. Spotted David Ortiz from the Boston Red Sox. Not a Red Sox fan, but still spotted him. Got my picture with him.
Not even in the right city.
Not even in the right city. Yep, exactly. Another one, we were just at a horse race out in Saratoga, the Belmont, and we were walking through the crowd, thousands and thousands of people. Spotted Kenny Mayne, the guy from SportsCenter. My husband didn't even notice, didn't even look. I spotted him right over there. I was like, "Hey, Kenny Mayne, gotcha, buddy."
You should have went over and asked if he'd be on a podcast.
Seriously, that would have been such a good guest. Oh man. Well, next time. See, now I'll be thinking about that when I see celebrities. Would you want to be on the podcast? But
Yes.
so that is my special useless
It
talent.
it is a
I
talent.
can spot celebrities, and I'm very proud of this. Very proud of this.
It,
So anybody that wants to take me somewhere and I can spot celebrities, just let me know. I
I
guess
feel
they
like in
call that a
Hollywood you'd be like overloaded. It would be like, oh, like a meltdown. Like you couldn't do it.
to be honest, when we were in California, I don't think I saw one celebrity that day.
That's the way it
So
goes.
it was great.
That's the way it goes.
It was great. It was great.
Well, this was fun. Excited to get to our guests today. So everyone stick around after these messages. We'll be right back. If you're enjoying this podcast, please follow us on your favorite podcast streaming service. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting, a group focused on educating and guiding high school and college students looking towards careers in athletics. To find out more, go to our website at www.athcareer.com. That's ATHCAREER.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. And we are so excited to have our guest today, Maury. Let's give him a nice intro.
Absolutely. A native of Houston, today's guest graduated from Syracuse with a bachelor's and master's degree. He played football at Syracuse and with the NFL Carolina Panthers. He started his administrative career in college athletics through positions in academics and student support. At Syracuse, he served as an academic graduate assistant, working his way up to academic coordinator, assistant director, associate director before being promoted to director of academic services. He is a member of N4A and board member of NBA, NCAA Continuing Education Pilot, and serves on the Center for Sports Management Research Education Advisory Board of Directors. He currently holds the position of Deputy Athletic Director for Administration and Student Athlete Experience at Texas A&M. His role oversees the Center for Student Athlete Services, Letterman's Association, the Equipment Room, initiatives related to NIL, and is a sports administrator for cross country. Excited to welcome to the podcast, Joe Fields. And Joe, just to say, like, we're so excited that you have the time just to sit down with us after you read what you do all day long.
Oh my goodness. So. I mean, that list took 1 minute. That's really impressive.
No, Maury, I appreciate that, man. I'm sitting there like, man, Maury got me sounding really cool right now. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't make up the truth. Like, that's what it is. I mean, the fact that you have 10 seconds to talk to us is an amazement right now.
I know.
This you guys are like family. I'm honored to be on here, and certainly happy to make time and visit with you guys and kind of give back a little bit. So I'm excited. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, this is great.
We're definitely awesome. When thinking about someone who can talk to people about being in athletics and being in career fields related to athletics, like you have done so many interesting things and done so many different things and, doing amazing work at Texas A&M. So we're really happy to have you kind of give your experience and what's going on and kind of talk about like your perspective on what it is to be in the world of athletics.
I know. We're just happy to catch up too. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you.
So with that, give us your first tip.
Yeah, no. So it's funny, like certainly great to catch up and kind of talk through these things. And as I was kind of thinking through tips and tricks and all of those fun things, I just kept kind of going back to my time at Cuse and kind of how it started. And I would say the first thing I would tell myself or tell a young professional entering the profession or trying to get into the profession is one, continue to sharpen your leadership skills, right? I always say there's a premium on leadership and there's a shortage of leaders. And so no matter where you're at in your career, where you're going to go in your career, leadership will be big. Either you're leading yourself, leading a project, leading a unit, leading someone else's career. I just think that it's always really important to continue to perfect those pieces of it. I think that, one of the things that I always tell our staff when we're looking to hire someone, who's the best leader of the bunch, right? To me, that's a differentiator. Who's a leader? Who's going to be someone that we're going to be able to task to get things done, to grow, to do those things? Because I always feel like if I could find a leader I can teach some of the other things that the job requires, but it's hard to find someone with those innate with that innate ability to lead. And again, whether it's their self, right, whether it's a project, someone else, a unit, I just really value leadership at a high level. And I think that's something that I always try to infuse into any situation that I'm personally in or any area that I'm working with.
Yeah.
I always try to figure out like, hey, how can I provide leadership here? How can I make this a more efficient process? How can I give her this process, this individual, whatever it is, just a little level of leadership so that I can make whatever a little bit more efficient and kind of go a little smoother.
Yeah, because leadership is on every level too. It's not just like, okay, you're the athletic director. Like you could be leading as an intern. You could take on leadership roles as an intern to show your supervisor that you can work together as a group. You can take on tasks. You can, help propel the effort and make it more efficient, like you said. So it's on every level. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to be the athletic director to be a good leader. Like it can be on every level to be a good leader.
Absolutely,
So,
and I always say it's a progress, Jennifer. It's you got to lead
mhm,
yourself, then you
right,
can lead someone else, and then you
right.
can lead a unit, and then like it just keeps growing. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have to start that first piece of leading yourself
right.
or leading an initiative or leading a person, and then it just keeps growing. And I think I mean, every day, even like even we're not thinking about leadership, and you see someone naturally doing something, and you're like,
Right.
that's a leader. And working with student athletes, I always like
Right, right.
we know who the leaders are. Like you
Yeah.
know who they follow, you know who they listen to. You can always tell the leader in the pack for sure.
Hmm.
Awesome. Awesome recommendation. And definitely something as a supervisor or as just someone starting out is something that you need to use. So, awesome trick. Okay. Trick. Number two. Can't speak tonight. Number two.
Yeah, I would say number two is run your own race. I think comparisons are the thief of joy. Oftentimes we see other individuals getting promotions or getting opportunities, and we think, why not me? Why are those things not happening to me in my career? Why I'm not getting those opportunities? And you just kind of don't know where they're at in their journey, right? You don't know where they started. You don't know what led to that opportunity. And so I think it's always important that we just kind of focus on ourselves and our task and not necessarily concentrate on what others have going on. Be happy for other people when they get opportunities, because if you work hard and you put your time in, you're going to get those opportunities and you're going to want that same grace. And so, but you just see people chasing titles, chasing this, chasing that, and it's like, hey, don't chase that because that's what you see someone else doing, or because you think that's what the profession tells you should be doing. Where are you at in your career? Are you ready to take that next step? Is that the right next step for you? And you just see so many young professionals not in control of that portion of it. And I always tell them, just slow down, take a deep breath, run
Hmm.
your race. What's important to you? Sometimes you're going to be ahead of someone. Sometimes you're going to be behind an individual, but just really important that you look at your situation for your situation and run your race and recognize where you're at in your career and what you need to do next and what you don't need to do next. Because sometimes the best decision we make is not taking that opportunity that's right in
Yeah.
front of you sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of young professionals, they're looking at it like a sprint and not like a cross country
A
or a marathon.
marathon.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
you better be looking at it and saying, you know what, how do I do the best for myself today? Because when you start losing sight of that, you're clearly not, being able to get done what you need to do. You're looking at things that are out of your control. And what's in your control is doing the best job that you can do. And that has always, for me, led me to the best outcomes and the best opportunities at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And we should be learning something right now in our career. Whether
Hmm.
you're entry level, older, wherever
Right.
you're at in your career and wherever you're at in your journey, you should be learning something. I go back to like literally N4A academic conferences and I can
Yeah.
remember the things I learned. I remember having a conversation with Coach Bayheim about a situation or some other professional. And I'm like, I needed to learn that because it's going to help me later. And I find myself leaning back on all of those experiences that I learned early in my career. And it's just important to know that that's your foundation and not speed past those moments, but
Yeah.
really slow down and learn from those opportunities.
Yeah, because you can only control yourself and like how you react to things and how you can't control what other people are doing. Again, they're gonna do their own thing, and sometimes it's more about what's best for you. And like you said, sometimes it's not taking that opportunity, or it's not saying yes to something, or because that's what's best for you and on your career. It's a long career. You hope you're having and building a long career.
Yeah.
It's a
So
it's a journey. Like in you see people bounce around. You see people staying at one school. You see people leaving different areas. You see people staying in one area. That's the best decision for that individual, right? And
Yeah.
so, like,
right,
you don't have to jump around the institutions because you see someone else doing it. It's
Right.
right, right,
run
right.
your own race. What's important for you, for sure.
That's
Awesome.
that's that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one, Joe.
Okay. Ready for number 3?
Yeah, I would say character matters. I think sometimes we get caught up in, like we talked about, leadership. That's great. I perfected my leadership. All right, I'm running my own race. I got this title. But you got to remember, uh, character matters. Working hard, having humility, being selfless. Um, all of those things still matter, like in athletics and working with people and working with coaches and working with student athletes and administration. You gotta work hard. You gotta have some humility. You gotta be flexible. Like you gotta have all those little pieces that are really important. You gotta understand that this profession, this job, these things that we're doing are bigger than ourselves, right? Like the institution is bigger than us, and so sometimes it becomes about us. Sometimes it's we make it about what it shouldn't be about, and like over the course of a career, you see young people, and you're like, this is not about you. You
Right.
Yeah,
you say you want all those things, but I don't see the work ethic aligning with what you say you want in your career,
Right.
right? And you see how they treat people, and like they're not willing to put that extra work in. And I'm like, that stuff still matter. Yeah, you
hmm
have to do all those things, but like character still matters when you talk about our profession and working with as a young person and working with student athletes and being that example and being that role model. You're a role model if you want to be or not. Like someone's
right.
watching you,
Yeah.
someone's paying attention to how you're going about your business, and whether it's a student athlete, whether it's a young professional. And so I think all of those things are important. I think it's really important that you kind of establish your values and your core values and what's important to you and kind of anchor back to them as you go on this journey as well.
I think what a lot of those young people don't realize is that the world of athletics is much smaller in a way than they expect.
Everybody knows everybody.
You can, especially within like a certain area, like I can call up and say, "Hey, Joe, this person works with Texas A&M. Like, what was your experience with them?" And you know, they don't know that you and I have a relationship, and that that's going to completely like turn out to be what might make or break, even if you get an interview. Like, it matters who you are and who you are every day.
Yes. I mean, and more to that point, I remember like we were sitting in PDI together, right? And then we've been in the profession almost 10, 15 plus years or
Years,
whatever it's
yeah,
been now. Like you go on that
probably
journey with
closer to
people.
15.
Yeah, like
We're not
and
that
so like
old, guys.
And,
We're not
I
that
know.
old. Come on.
We're seasoned. We're
We're
experienced
seasoned.
now.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, I like
But it's
that.
like everybody knows everybody. Everybody's
Right.
connected, and it's such a small profession.
Yeah,
And oftentimes, again, when we're reaching out to people and we're asking, we're inquiring, yeah, we think they can do the job at a high level, but we're confident in the ability to coach you up. But what we really want to know is, they're a good person.
Right.
right.
Like, are they a good
Exactly.
teammate? Do they work
Exactly.
hard? Can I count on this individual? Are they dependable? Like, you want to know those little pieces, and that's what I'm always asking questions about.
Oh,
And
same.
so,
That's so spot on, because even when we're just in the process of hiring new like year-long interns, I know they're capable of writing a game script or a rundown or throwing a t-shirt, but are they a good person? Are they, like you said, reliable? Do they get along with others well? Are they team players? Like, are they willing to go the extra mile? And that's the stuff you check up on, and that's the stuff that stands out. Anybody can throw a t-shirt. I know that's what,
Absolutely.
in my area,
No, I'm the
that's
same way.
what we do.
And
But,
maybe
Yeah.
Jen, you're right. Like maybe I'm arrogant because I'm like, I can get you coached up. Like
right,
I can
right,
teach you how to do
right,
this part of the job.
right,
But I want to
right.
know who you are when I'm not present. I want to know how you treat
Exactly.
people. I want to know are you going to be a role model for our student athletes? I want to know if I could trust you to
Right.
do the other pieces.
How
Are
you
you going to be
represent
willing to,
us.
yeah, are you going to be
Yeah.
willing to learn from me? Or are you just going to decide that you're going to know everything on your own?
Right.
And like all those things become quick, and you're making a commitment to that person, and that person's making a commitment to you to hopefully stay at an institution. And though if it's not a good fit, it's not going to be a positive experience. And that's all about character.
Absolutely.
100%.
It
100%.
matters.
And
Character matters.
that's what every young professional should realize and learn from this. That is so spot on. So spot on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going strong.
Yeah.
Tip number 4.
Tip number 4.
I feel like this is a good one coming. Oh my God.
Coming.
No, oh no, I'll let you guys be the judge. But I would say pride yourself on professionalism. Kind of like the character piece, the professionalism piece is really, really big. How you communicate, are you dependable? Are you consistent? Are you organized? How you show up? I think all of those pieces really matter, right? And whether it's sending an email across campus, sending an email to a partner, are you formatting it the right way? Are you talking about it the right way? When I'm asking you to come to a meeting and represent our athletics department or our unit, are you dressed appropriately? Are you talking the right way? Are you just carrying yourself the right way? And then again, we go back to the dependability piece. Like, am I randomly going to get a call during a really important presentation, a meeting that you're sick today? Everybody can get sick. But like,
Right.
is it a trend?
Yeah.
Like, are you get sick every presentation? Do you get sick before every deadline?
Right.
Like those are the things. Like, I want to know if you're dependable. And then the other piece is like consistent, right? Like, can I consistently count on you? Are you going to consistently show up the same way every day? And I know what I'm getting from you. So now I know how to lead you. I know how to properly assign roles and responsibilities in our unit, or do I got to work around you? You see some come in and they can turn it on and they're amazing on Monday, and you get around Thursday or Friday, you're like, my God, you are a Debbie Downer. What are we doing? Pull it together.
Right.
You know?
Where have we been?
Yeah. Where did you
Absolutely.
go?
or like emails. Like I see
Yeah.
young professionals sometimes like send an email across campus. I'm like, come see me.
Right.
This is not our standard. Like we communicate the right way, we follow up the right way, we 24 to 48 hours response time, right? Like if you don't have the answer, tell them you don't got the answer. You'll get back to them. I just
Yep.
find that young professionals is that piece of it. Really, really smart, really intelligent, know the job, but it's like they always have to come around to the professionalism piece. And I always say I have grace for that part of it, but you got to learn it. And the quicker you learn it, the better you're going to be, the better you're going to be supported, the better you're going to be trusted to do more things, the quicker you're going to get that promotion or whatever it is that you're seeking. Is that when your supervisor, when your teammates know how you're going to show up, know how you're going to communicate, know how, if you're organized, if you're going to meet deadlines, if you're going to be like, all of those things really, really matter, especially as a young professional when you're trying to make a name for yourself, because first impressions are really important. All of those pieces are really important.
It's funny you talk about across campus, because I feel like that's a real, like for someone that's been in a while, those people that everyone know on campus, you can tell have this level of professionalism that just sticks out, because they can walk down campus and they'll have 20, 30 people being like, hey, because you end up being that go-to, that person that they know because you've treated them in a specific way. They have a ability to rely to you, and it happens way more quickly than people think.
That's you. They go to you.
Well, honestly, Jen and I were on a call today, and they couldn't stop saying her name. So I was super happy just to wave and say hi. But
I'm here, right?
But it's the truth. Like it doesn't even mean about time that you're there. You could be a couple months, and you start seeing that people gravitate, and the administration puts you out in front more to deal with things because they
Right.
know that you're going to be able to deal with partners across campus.
And you're going to
Absolutely.
represent the department well, where they don't worry what you're going to say or how you're going to say it. They know you're going to say it in the right way and you're going to communicate it the correct way. So that's big, because you're right. I feel like I have a lot of interns or young professionals that are so like right to the point, like send the email and that's it. And I'm like, can we just have a little more like, I don't know, like finesse when you're talking, like,
So
you know,
I'll share with a staff member that you guys know, and if she saw this, she'll co-sign this. So Brittany Clark,
Oh,
I used
Yes.
to I used to always
Love
tell
Brittany.
Brittany, I was like, Brittany, you got to put a little fluff on it for me.
Right?
You-
Right. Exactly. That's the
I was
word.
like,
Put some love in there.
I was like, Britt, you can't be like, I get it, it's all factual, but you gotta like say hello,
Yeah.
smile,
How are you?
how are you? Thank you, hope all is well. You gotta give me a little fluff before you send it. And like, as a young professional, like sometimes we take it for granted, but we're athletics, right? And so
Right.
Right.
everybody's paying attention to us.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks that we're so privileged, and
Yes.
we
Yes.
we always have our way. And so I think as often as we can show that professionalism, as often as we can show up the right way, as often we can dress appropriate for that
Mm-hmm.
meeting, I think all of those things
So good.
matter and give us credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that can get turned off by athletics, and if you're putting on that you're showing them professionalism. There's so many people that I have like kind of, and I'm sure Jen's actually very good at it. She won't admit it, but like you kind of turn them over to be like, hey, we're a team here across campus. You've been able to develop relationships because you're presenting yourself in a way that people can relate to.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely. It's like I used to tell the student athletes. I used to always say, "Hey, when you're going to visit the history professor office hours,
yeah.
Yeah,
like put yourself in the history professor's space. Like
yeah,
think
Right.
how they're thinking. Like engage in the things that's important to a history professor, right? And it's the same thing whether it's marketing, the same thing
Right.
whether it's facilities.
100%.
Like
Mm-hmm.
like put yourself in that space, and it'll go a long way.
The dressing professional too is like so something. I feel like, and that was with COVID and people just working from home, and I feel like a lot of people lost that of like, okay, I can just wear leggings and a hoodie to work today. And it's like, well, we're going to meet with the athletic director and like, bigger people on campus, like we probably should look a little bit more presentable. And it's like people are like, what do you mean? We're at the game and we're on the court and everybody's looking at us. We need to look presentable. We're on the sidelines, like we're representing people and yourself. So that I think gets forgotten too. So that's a good one. Professionalism. I like it. Like it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, Jen, you're up.
Okay. All right. The big one. So, Joe, tough one. What do you know now that you wish you knew then? So, what do you know now at this point in your career that you wish you would have known when you first started?
Yeah, I would say probably the biggest one as I look inward and reflect, I would say don't sell yourself short. I think sometimes we put our own selves in boxes for as our abilities and the areas that we work in and what we can accomplish. And so many times I've been wrong far as like what I can do and what I can accomplish. And I wish I kind of would have learned that area earlier. Like you don't have to be the academic guy. You don't have to be just this person. You don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
Right.
just that person. And even if you start off that, you can become something else, right? And like,
Right.
and so I wish like earlier I would have known that like, hey, this profession is really big. This profession has a lot of different components to it. Athletics departments are really robust, and ultimately, a lot of the areas that touch an athletic department, it kind of go back to some of the things we talked about: leadership, character, professionalism, and ultimately you can learn some of the expertises or some of the skills within those other areas, and go try, right? Like if you're interested in facilities, go talk to the facilities team. You're interested in fan experience and game day experience and seeing what that go talk to those individuals. You're
Right.
interested in academics, go talk, go have a conversation. You'll realize that those areas are not that scary, and you'll realize that we have a lot of similarities, and you might have an interest in those spaces that's fulfilling and rewarding. And so I think I'm learning that now. Like as I grow, as I take on more, I'm like, that's very similar to this, or I'm finding those transferable skills, or I'm finding those comparable moments that I can reach back into in some other area I worked in and see how applicable it is at this moment. And I'm always encouraging my staff. I'm always encouraging the folks that I work with. Like, I wanted to go do it.
Right.
What are the necessary steps you're going to take to do those things? You're interested in NIL. What have you done to learn more about NIL?
Right.
Permission to go learn more about NIL.
Yeah.
Come back and tell me all about it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And don't be afraid to volunteer. Raise your hand and be like, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. You need some help? I have a couple extra minutes. Like that's what always leads to some of the best things is like, hey, they need someone that has background in that or has tried it. Well, I've been involved with it. Like people forget that's how you get into the next part of what you're doing.
Absolutely. And like nothing, I used to always say, like, nothing is too big, nothing is too small. Like, hey, you need somebody to give a tour. I'll give a tour. You need someone to,
We've all given a tour. We've all given a tour.
On that tour, like, you are talking about the facility, you're making a connection, you're making, like, there are so many things that's happening there. And, like, right now you know to give a good tour. Now, so, like, nothing is too big, nothing is too small. Don't put yourself in a box. Be curious, learn, grow, connect, talk to professionals. Us as the professionals that have been in the game a little longer, we love to get back. We love to talk.
Yes.
Sometimes we talk too much and we always talk about ourselves and our career axes. Trust me, everybody would talk about themselves.
We'll give you a story about back then.
Yeah, right.
I will give you a story about back then.
I feel like I give one of them to like a student athlete every other day, a staff member every other day, and so
how many times do you say Syracuse, Joe? That's what I want to know.
Well, so here's the thing. So I got a Syracuse helmet in my office. So I have a pickup truck, and I got a truck hitch. That's a Syracuse truck hitch.
Nice.
And so. Everybody know I love the Cuse. Every time I always say I'm a 2-time graduate of Syracuse University.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm super proud. Every time, now on the flip side, every time Cuse lose or something happened with Cuse not in the right way,
they come right to you.
They come tell me about it. I've had so many Coach Boeheim conversations. It's amazing the amount of conversations I had about Coach Boeheim. So, they know I love you.
That's always a go-to. That's definitely back in the day with Coach Boeheim is one that everyone will reach out for.
You're the expert, Joe. You got to spend a lot of time with Coach Boeheim. You spend a good amount of time with that.
It's funny, man. He's a living legend. There's so many great things there, and I'm fortunate to have spent a little time with him and learned so much from my time working with Cuse basketball and those student athletes in the program. But yes, he's a great conversation starter.
Anytime.
Sure.
Everyone knows who he is, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, no, there's never, when you say Syracuse, you say, oh, do you know Coach Boeheim? Like those go hand in hand.
He's been around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I love that with like not putting yourself in a box because I think, and that's again for young professionals to learn, especially in like internships, like that's your time to try new things and okay, you're interested in accounting or whatever, like, go and see those things while you have the opportunities as an intern or right outside of school, so you're not like, been in a job for 4 years and you're like, oh, now I want to change this, which you certainly can do. But those internships really give you those opportunities to learn and see all different departments, which is great. So,
and you never know what the next person or position's looking for, because I can't, like, how many times have I talked to someone, or even some ways in my own job when I've advanced, it's been like, well, we're looking for someone that has this knowledge. And it's like, well, I've been doing that with this person for a couple of years now and have experience because we build a relationship, and it's like, oh, that helps you get your foot in the door.
And you're so right. And it's funny. So like when we interview someone and we get 10 applications, it's funny. Staff is always like, I want to talk to these 3. And I'm like, I want a Zoom interview with these 10. Well, those 7 or don't meet the quality. I was like, I don't know. Like, you never know when you talk to someone, what type of transferable skills, where their passion is at now. Did you read the cover letter? And ultimately, it's free to have that conversation. Like, they might impress us. And so I'm always open to different candidates, folks that's coming from different backgrounds. I think they bring something to the table. But yes, explore, be curious, and more importantly, like put together a game plan, to
Right.
do those things. And whether it's reaching out and having a conversation or really being intentional about applying for different jobs, like have a game plan.
Yeah.
Well,
So good, Joe.
this is awesome. So fortunate to have this time to talk to you and catch up. And we're just so excited for all the success that you've had and just the guy. I mean, you even said it. You've opened yourself up, and now you're doing all these amazing things. So we're so excited that you got to share this time with us. So thank you.
I know.
No,
Thank
absolutely.
you. This is great. I'm so glad we got to catch up. We miss you, but we're so happy for you.
Yes.
No, thank you guys. I'm honored. I appreciate you guys and miss you guys, and so grateful for the time we spent together, and was excited to hop on here and have this conversation. Please tell everybody I said hello, and I miss them, and I love them, and go Orange.
All right,
We
will.
will.
I'll tell Coach Boeheim you said hi. Don't worry. When I see him next time, I'll be like, Joe Fields says hi.
We'll
do our hallway walks tomorrow and make sure everybody knows. So
yeah, for sure.
This is great.
Want to thank everyone for joining us today. Please make sure to follow us on your favorite platforms, follow our social media, and we look forward to seeing everyone next time.
Bye, guys.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.